FBI Director Kash Patel is set to testify just 20 minutes from now before the House Appropriations Committee, where he can expect a grilling from Democrats. The White House argues the cuts will help undo the, quote, weaponization of the FBI that pervaded the previous administration, focusing instead on counterintelligence and counterterrorism, while reducing DEI programs and pet projects of the former administration. I want to bring in a member of that House Appropriations Committee, Democratic Congresswoman Madeleine Dean. It's good to see you once again, and I know you're getting ready to head into the hearing, but your Democratic colleagues on the committee say the proposed cuts would be disastrous to law enforcement and public safety. Why? What's your thoughts?
Well, as you pointed out, more than $545 million worth of cuts to an agency that is our chief law enforcement agency for the United States. But of course, it has such a role to play around the globe at a time. And the testimony from Kash Patel will tell you that at a time of heightened risk and insecurity and threats to our nation at home and abroad, they want to cut. They also have a revenge list that they're playing through. I just keep thinking of the more than 38,000 members, folks who work for FBI. They're not interested in these games. They're not interested in the president's revenge tour. They're interested in doing their job and keeping Americans safe. So we're going to question Mr. Patel very strictly to say why in God's name are they seeking these cuts. And also, I believe we will reveal his unfitness for this position. It is a critically important position, and the serious cuts that they are talking about are irresponsible.
Well, let me ask you about some of the things I think you're going to hear, because they are things we have heard before from members of this administration, which is that it makes sense to get rid of DEI programs, or at least reduce them, because they have not made us safer. And too much money is spent on pet projects. What would you say to that?
Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. What are they afraid of with diversity, equity, inclusion? I can't figure that out. Businesses know it's a good idea to have a diverse workforce. If you're dealing with the entire globe and our safety, I think it matters that you have a diverse workforce that understands the intricacies of different places around the planet or different places around this country. These so-called pet projects. I want to go back to what you said about the weaponization. You saw in Donald Trump's 120-word statement about FBI and what he wants to see happen there with these deep cuts. He wants to get rid of the weaponization of the FBI. The deflection in this group is unbelievable. They are weaponizing, trying to weaponize through Kash Patel, who is wholly unfit for this job. They're trying to weaponize the FBI and keep it from being the independent law enforcement agency that it should be. It is really scary. It is grave. We'll poke holes in that nonsense.
Meantime, your Pennsylvania House colleague, Congressman Chris Deluzio, told NBC News he sees a new divide in the Democratic Party, with the real battle not between the center and the left, but he believes it's between fighters and wimps. His words. Do you agree with him? Is that the state of your party?
I didn't hear the second word. The haters and what?
Wimps. He said it's between the fighters and the wimps.
That reminds me of an old book that Governor Rendell wrote, and he called some people wimps. I don't agree with Chris. Chris is a talented guy and a fabulous representative, and thank God we have him in our Pennsylvania delegation. I see in the Democratic Party a people of strong values, the very values that uphold the Constitution of the United States, the very thing that the president this past weekend said he wasn't sure if he was required to uphold. So no, I'm not characterizing Democrats that way. We are people filled with values, and our values happen to be to reveal our diversity. What this administration is looking at, take a look at the greater budget. I am newly on the Appropriations Committee, delighted to finally have gotten there, having served on appropriations in the Pennsylvania House. Take a look at the priorities and the values of this president. He wants to cut NIH funding by 40%. Take us away from being a global leader on research, medical research for cures and treatments, gene therapies, and others. He wants to take away supplemental food. That hurts our seniors. This reveals their values, what they care about. They want to take away education funding and shutter the Department of Education. And all of this is in search of what? What they fail to talk about, their end game, $4.5 trillion worth of increases, tax cuts to the billionaire class. Take a look at some of my Republican colleagues, and I'm calling out either the appalling silence of my Republican colleagues in the Pennsylvania delegation, or, as Representative Schmucker has recently said, the cuts aren't deep enough. Well, let's watch this and take a look at whose values reflect American values and reflect our duty, our oath to the Constitution.
We'll be watching the hearing, and I know you have to go to it. Congresswoman Madeleine Dean, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Good to be with you.